Oh no, it finally happened! Somebody leaked 10 years worth of President Trump's federal tax forms to the New York Times, which show between the mid-1980s and mid-1990s, his businesses suffered $1 billion loss. This is such a powerful story, it looks like it's all over for him now. This is actually a bigger nothing burger than when Rachel Madcow went to air with the 2 pages of Trump's tax returns that somebody sent her from a different decade. Because it's been public knowledge for decades that Trump had $1 billion or billions of dollars worth of losses back then. In fact, he even spoke about it on The Apprentice. Here's the opening of the show.
My name's Donald Trump, and I'm the largest real estate developer in New York. I own buildings all over the place, model agencies, the Miss Universe pageant, jetliners. But it wasn't always so easy. About 13 years ago, I was seriously in trouble. I was billions of dollars in debt. But I fought back, and I won. Big league. I used my brain, I used my negotiating skills, and I worked it all out. Now my company's bigger than it ever was, it's stronger than it ever was, and I'm having more fun than I ever had.
Wow, looks like the New York Times is on the cutting edge of stupidity once again. In fact, Hillary Clinton brought up his $1 billion loss back in 2016 during the campaign, and asked what kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year. That's a great question, Hillary, because the answer is your campaign wasted $1.2 billion on your bid for president. He also talked about his massive previous business failures in his 1997 book, The Art of the Comeback. What's really interesting about the New York Times getting these stolen tax returns is they got them just 1 week after Hillary Clinton went on MSNBC and said this.
Since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would richly reward you. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course, she says she was just joking, but that sure is a coincidence that just 1 week later, the tax returns mysteriously get delivered to the New York Times. Oh, by the way, since we're speaking of massive financial losses, CNN's parent company, a media conglomerate of Warner Media and AT&T, is $170 billion in debt. CNN is owned by Warner Media, which just got bought by AT&T, and at the end of last year, just a few months ago, that media conglomerate was $170 billion in debt. I thought this was a typo. I thought maybe 170 million, but there are multiple sources, including Forbes magazine, which say 170 or 180 billion dollars in debt. Forbes magazine reports that reducing their debt is a key priority. Well, no kidding. There are all kinds of rumors about pending layoffs at CNN, which can't even get 1 million viewers on their shows. And earlier this week, they announced that there were 100 employees who accepted a, quote, voluntary buyout of their contract. Instead of just laying off the employees, which would have looked bad, CNN is trying to spin it by buying out their contract, probably on 5 or 10 cents on the dollar, so they could say that they, quote, voluntarily left. The Hollywood Reporter says that, quote, everybody is bracing for a reorganization, a senior producer at the network said. There are all kinds of rumors about impending layoffs. Things also aren't going very well for Vice, which is owned in part by Disney, which just admitted that they lost $350 million by investing in them. But never fear, George Soros is here, and he just gave them $250 million in order to keep them going. I mean, this isn't an investment from George Soros. This is basically a political donation. It's a campaign contribution to Vice, which is just pure liberal trash. If you look at their Twitter feed, which is followed by about 1 million fake followers, they can't even get a dozen interactions on most of their tweets. Look at this. This one has 2 likes and 3 responses after 2 hours. Oh, 8 likes and 2 responses. Oh, that one almost a dozen. 11 and 1 response. So look at this. Nobody is paying attention to this garbage. Since George Soros certainly isn't going to give me $250 million, I appreciate all you guys who sponsor the channel through Patreon and PayPal. If you guys enjoy watching my videos, click the links in the description below, or head on over to my online store at MarkDice.com and get one of my awesome shirts, like the new I Love Global Warming shirt, the Trump Thug Life shirt, or the Presidential Collection. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to MarkDice.com or click the links in the description below and check them out.